All right, let's get it. Here we go. We got a day going on here. Look, this is an incredible opportunity to learn about psychology. Okay, so this is a jobs report week. We have had news today, actually, but we're stuck in a range. Okay, so let's look at the news real quick, right? So today, unemployment claims. Tomorrow, CPI, right? So you're kind of stuck. You're just stuck. There's probably nothing to do here until tomorrow. Can you come to the market every single day of the week and do nothing? Can you do that? Are you capable of coming into the market and doing that and watching the charts every single day, but doing nothing? Because if you can, then that's going to put you in a really good position. But if you can't, then it's going to be tough because these aren't even necessarily the moments, right? This isn't even necessarily the hard part. The hard part is when you're seeing movement, but it's not for you. Like, for instance, on Monday for me. I don't even remember exactly how it went down, but it wasn't time. It wasn't time. And only when you're able to do that are you going to be consistently profitable. If you can't watch things happen and not be emotionally swayed. Like even today, like I have no model here. So if I can't watch something play out and be okay with it, then I'm gonna have a bigger issue. So as you may know, I'm not some wildly profitable trader here. I'm just someone who's sitting here trying to manage my own psychology while also hopefully helping someone else out there do the same. Now, the reason that I'm streaming right now is because I know that there's a ton of people out there right now who want to do something. And by the way, there's nothing wrong with if you have a model, right? Do it. You know, get into your trades. Do what it is that you want to do. I primarily only really work with how do I call it? NASDAQ. I'm seeing some people taking trades on YM right now. Let me show you. Okay, because YM is going for this high. Even then, like, come on, look at this, brother. No way. You have this SMT down here that you could try to use to qualify a move up into the highs over here. But for me, I'm like, bro, I'm not really looking to engage until we actually meaningfully break this range. So whether it meant taking out the actual Tokyo lows and then going higher, or if it means coming up here, taking out these highs and then going lower. So if YM, for instance, right, goes up here and takes these highs and creates an SMT, then I could look for a short. But this little tiny little deviation within this range is not something that I'm going to use to qualify along personally. Personally, right? Okay, here we go. A little bit of movement, a little bit of movement. Let's see if we can observe anything worth observing. Okay, so what did the market do at the open? It just sat there. Now we're inside of a macro. If you know the real macros, you know the real macros. Yeah, guys, like when you zoom out and you look at this, like there's really nothing going on. Let me try to pull up some more charts. This is the 4 hour on S&P and on NASDAQ. Nothing. So what did I do? I woke up, I wrote down my emotion states. I did my journaling that I got from Market Mind Games by Denise Shaw, talking about what am I actually feeling? What are potentially any things that are coming from outside of trading? Right before I touch my phone, before I check my messages, where's my head at when I wake up in the morning? And trying not to check and have any of those types of outside influences. Now, I used to really do that. I used to legitimately not look at my phone and read for the first few hours of my day. Admittedly, that has changed when I got into this YouTube game. But point being, trying to keep as low of a sensory input going into the day as possible is something that I try to do. And so for now, that is what I did. I woke up, I did a little journal. I then will open the charts, see what's on the charts, and then also try to give my emotional state after that, right? Because sometimes you open the charts and all of a sudden you see something and you're like, and you get nervous, you get like some anxiety. And that to me is always a sign. Okay. Always a sign that I'm probably needing to relax and like probably not take whatever it is that I'm looking at. Because sometimes you get anxiety about the fact that you just need to do anything at all, but sometimes you get anxiety because you feel like you're about to miss something, right? And I'm constantly trying to avoid that feeling. I do not want to feel like I need to trade because I'm going to miss something. So here we are now, watching this play out. Now, for any longers, let me look at YM first. I mean, technically, you'd probably have a 1 hour SMT up high. Let me see. For any longers, I would say that you're getting closer to getting something that might allow you to participate. But the realignment that's going to have to happen after this is going to be pretty intense, right? So, main thing that I was trying to say coming into this is that before I engage this market, I mean, the bias for me is higher, but what I'm looking out for is if it wanted to potentially take out these highs and then roll lower. Okay, but now what we're getting instead, a little bit of a dump. It's really hard to do anything with this. Like the market needs to come way down here, take out these Tokyo lows for me to feel any sort of reasonable level of a range deviation, and then potentially come higher, right? But that's such a large wick that we'd be forming on the day. Let me look at that actually. I'm like, this is very likely to be an inside day. Yesterday was an outside day, which means that the day's candle, took out both the high and the low of the previous day's candle, right? This candle took out the high and the low of the previous day's candle. And an inside day would be if this low stays inside of this low and this candle's high stays inside of this candle's high. And I think that's a very, very likely probability. In that case, right, the types of trades that I'm taking are expansions. I'm not really trading in these ranges. So, yeah, guys, that's what's going on with me. You know what I mean? So, nothing to do. Can you sit here? Can you do nothing? I am, oh my goodness gracious, I almost dropped a bunch of tea on the floor. Bunch of hot, scorching tea. But if you're new here, welcome. The major point of this is not to really like teach ICT concepts. It's probably not something I'm qualified to do. I'm just here to kind of talk about managing psychology as you're coming through your journey. That way you always have a reason to stop by. Because the truth is, the psychological management of this game is not something that ever really ends. It's not something that ever really goes away. You know, it's something you're constantly dealing with and trying to master in one way or another. And master might not even be the best word because it's almost something that you kind of manage. Right. I'm going to try to come into the control room, see if there's anybody here. Oh, Bobby. Good morning. Thanks for this channel. Well, thanks for being here, Bobby. Yeah, man. This is kind of my space, man, where I can share a little bit about the stuff that I really care about. So what I will point out here is, on various different levels, we're in a range. This is the NASDAQ, by the way. This is the only thing that I really trade is the NASDAQ in the futures market. I look at ES, meaning the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones, as just confluences, just things to keep an eye on. But I typically only really place orders on the NASDAQ. It's not really it's not like a good thing per se. It's just kind of how I roll. I'm gonna try to set something up real quick. So yeah, I mean, this is, super boring stuff as far as what's happening in the markets. So I was walking through my process. I wake up, journal, feeling, emotional states, try to stay off of things, and then look at the charts, journal what's on my mind and how I'm feeling about what's on the charts. Then I have a journal that like a trading journal that I'll enter in what I'm seeing on the charts. And then, and there's like a whole structure to that. And then I sit. I'm also in a Discord right now with Afiz's group. It's called Latherus. So I usually tune into what they're talking about. But today I know, right? I'm looking at the market and I'm seeing that there's absolutely nothing going on. And in that case, right, there's not really much for me to get from a live stream either because there's nothing going on. So in this case, it's like, well, let me hop on to the stream, talk a little bit about some of my practices, some of the psychological management. I mean, these are by far the hardest times to be an ICT trader. I mean, and this isn't even Like this isn't even that bad. I mean, this isn't great, right? When you look at the daily time frame, like there's nothing happening in here, right? But there's some opportunities within all of this. But yeah, this is by far just like not what you want to see. I've been in. You find yourself in these ranges every once in a while, right? Usually toward the end of a year and the beginning of a new year, especially, you're gonna have some choppier action. Okay, here's a better example. The end of 2024, going into 2025, super choppy. The end of 2025, coming into 2026, right? Super choppy. I mean, where did it stop? February 21st last year. So this isn't unprecedented type of a thing. Here, this is what I've learned, a part of just the cycle of markets, right? You get choppier times in the holidays and so on. So, um, yeah, folks, CPI tomorrow. I don't even want to spend too much time on this because I've got other things that I do have to accomplish today, unfortunately. But I did want to make it clear that these are the times. These are the times where all the profits are made. Believe it or not, this is where all of the profits are made. It's much more fair to say that this is where all of the profits are kept. To be fair, right? But really, we underestimate how in this game, right, is one of the things that I think Justin Werlin was the one who really illuminated this for me. I love his content; he's absolutely incredible. Um, One of the things that he illuminated for me, and everybody, like, if you guys want to learn technical stuff, then like you're gonna have to probably go somewhere else for it because I'm really trying to avoid um, talking too much about the technicals because it's just really not. I'm not at the place where I can really talk about it like that. But so Justin Werlin, and obviously, so for technicals, the inner circle trader himself obviously is fantastic. Also, Justin Werlin for both psychology and technical stuff. He's actually live right now. I want to join his live. But point being, there is um, a time to do nothing. And those are the times where you're actually getting alpha or positive expectancy in the market. It's when you don't do anything, it's when you sit on your hands and you wait and you wait and you wait. And the thing that has been so fascinating for me to realize is that it's worth waiting until you have the perfect setup. It's worth waiting until you're like, oh, this is exactly what I'm looking for. And until you can, or let me just say this, until I could literally do nothing until I see exactly what I want to see out of the market, I was doomed to be an unprofitable trader. Because what would happen is even when you do the right things, when it's time to do the right thing, as soon as you don't do the right thing and you reinforce that habit by winning, then you're going to do it again. You're going to do it again until you mess everything up. And so the reason I'm even so in the way it can typically play out too is, well, there's two sides, right? There's, are you constantly doing the right? Are you constantly waiting for your setups? How about that? Are you constantly waiting for your model to present itself? And then if you use the model when it does present itself and it ends in a loss, which is going to happen, are you able to sit with that? Are you able to do nothing? Are you able to not respond to the stimulus, to your brain saying, I need to do something about this? And that honestly, what it takes, what it probably takes is just messing that up over and over and over again. Realizing that doing anything is going to lead to devastation in a moment like that. But you probably, I mean, for me, I've just had to experience that over and over and over again. And I'm still, most recently, a Friday ago, this was 2 weeks ago now, I think. That's exactly what I did. I got too comfortable. I was coming back to the game, had been out for a while. That's another thing too. It's like if you're out of the game, if you're not in the charts, if you're not trading, when you come back, for me, my new thing is if I'm ever in that situation again, I'm treading super lightly for a long time, like for at least a month, at least a full month, maybe even more than that, of just light, light executions, light risk. Because you've got to remember some of the things that you've set in place for yourself. And this is only also because I'm probably so early in my journey, right? So like there's a lot of people in here who are like, oh man, I missed a short. Oh man, I missed out. Missed out on an opportunity. It's like, dude. And there's people who have traded this, to be clear, who have made money. And that's okay. Um so sticking to the plan, really important because when you does the moment you don't, you'll wipe out like I did a week ago or 2 weeks ago, an entire month's of profitable trades. It's such a weird thing. Like looking at this game, like we think this game is like this, right? At the minimum, we think it's like this. Let me be even more precise. We think it's like we want it to be like this, right? Where it's like big gains, little bit, big gains. That's what you want to see, right? Big gains, baby losses, baby losses. Things that when you're seeing this in your equity curve, it doesn't mean anything to you. You're like, oh, it's okay. I took a little loss, and then big win. But what the randomness of the market can look a little bit more like, it's like that loss. Okay. What you're trying to eliminate always is big losses. Oops, what happened? Why did it cut me off? That was kind of late. What you're trying to avoid is coming through. You want big wins, baby losses, baby wins, baby losses, baby wins, baby losses, big wins. This is what you want for yourself, right? And this comes with having a strategy that allows for this kind of activity through having higher R, right? Higher risk, higher reward for risk. So baby loss, baby win, baby loss, baby loss. You might take a few baby losses in a row and then a nice win. Okay. This is much more what it can look like. Right. And this is psychologically scary a lot. Right. You're like, oh my goodness. Like, do I even know what I'm doing? Uh oh. And so, um, these are things that you have to think about, right? Because what we're really trying to avoid is days where you do all of that. Like this is basically what I just did on Friday. All of this, and really, a lot more sitting still than this, right? It's really not that many different decisions being made. It's a lot more sitting still. But point being, right, you're doing all of this. And then in one instant, one day, you do this. Why though? Why does that happen? because you weren't able to just do this. Because you weren't able to just do this, even. That's pretty much what it was happening with in my equity curve. Maybe not that dramatic, but still, it was a bigger loss. So what did I do? I turned it into a catastrophic one. And so you've got to avoid doing that because this now, guess what this does? This restarts the whole clock, man. Because there's not that many decisions that need to be made all the time. It's a lot of sitting and waiting. So when you make a bunch of decisions at one time, when you've been waiting patiently to make decisions all these other times, you're setting yourself way back. Like like there's no guarantee that I'm gonna get back up to this level of equity curve in that same period of time that it took me to do it. This might take 3 months, right? So each and every time that you do something catastrophic like that to your equity curve, you are really putting yourself in a compromised position. Be able to take that. Because guess what? That's a part of this. This is a part of your thing. This is a part of what's going on. This is not. That is not a part of your strategy. That's not you following your rules. That might be. And when you look at it, that's always happening. And so just because, for instance, what was happening here was so when I had this, I was like, oh man. And then I turned it into this. So, anyways, just kind of wanting to illustrate um, what that's like because there's so few decisions that you might actually be making. And this isn't for everybody. Some people trade up and down all around all day. Right? This is just not how I do it. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Often just got to wait. It is okay to just watch and not be in a trade. Risk management is very important, Bobby. Yeah. Yeah, man. 100%. 100%. So that's what I've got to talk about for today. I will go ahead and call it here. I think I'm pretty confident that I'll be better off just moving on with my day. Once again, I talked about this yesterday too. It's really nice to have other things to do because otherwise I would sit here all morning. Not all morning, but I'd sit here for much longer and see what's going on. But I really don't. I legitimately don't care. All right, because I got other stuff that is for sure going to be fruitful and that is for sure not going to play with my mind in this kind of a way. So I'm going to do those things. I appreciate you for tuning in. If you found this helpful at all in any way, let me know. This is a lot of fun to me. And I will keep doing it if so. Yeah, memes and markets, Bobby. That's right. Big day today. No guest per se, but it'll be a lot of fun. It's always a lot of fun and tons of preparing to do to make it great. And then, yeah, man. So I'm going to go ahead and pop over to prepping for that. And thanks again for tuning in. I will see y'all very soon. Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already.